In this video, we will cover the process for winterizing a QuickDraw 3000 cabinet. This process is the same for both pump suction and Venturi style cabinets. Prior to beginning winterization, it's recommended that you perform a product hose rinse on any product hoses that are still connected to your cabinet. This process is outlined both in the manual and on the SurePoint Ag YouTube channel. Once completed, it's recommended to move on to draining your carrier tank, making sure the water is out of all the fittings that are attached, draining any attached cone bottoms, ensuring that all the water is out of them or any chemical they may have in them, draining any eductors that you may have connected or chem blades. On this chem blade, it's important to open up these valves inside and drain out any remaining fluid that may be inside here to prevent it from freezing over the winter. In addition, it's recommended to disconnect the connection from the bottom of the Venturi and allow any remaining fluid to come out, and to open up this valve and let that drain. Next, move over to the pump. Ensure that all the water is removed from any hard fittings all the way out. Open up the valves, let that drain. Remove the lid from the strainer. Make sure that all the water is removed from here. On the pump, there is a plug on the bottom. Ours has a valve on it that we can open up to allow the water to drain out. There's also a valve at the top. This will allow air into the system and help that water drain. While the water has been removed, it's recommended to remove this hose clamp on the top of the pump. Pull this fitting off and pour RV antifreeze into the top of the pump. Next, moving back to the cabinet. In the bottom right-hand corner, there are two valves. There's a black valve and a blue valve. The blue valve drains water from the mass meter. The black valve drains the inlet side of the cabinet. There's a check valve right here, and so that black valve drains the water out that's on top of the flow meter all the way down through this elbow and out to the bottom side of the cabinet. It's recommended to open these one at a time and ensure that you have water running to make sure there's no blockage and trapped fluid inside. In addition, we'll also want to come to the right side of the cabinet and open up the product hose rinse. Disconnect the eductor supply, open this up, disconnect the eductor suction, remove the hose from the inlet side of the cabinet, and open the rinse port on the bottom of the cabinet. Also, in the display underneath the manual controls, we'll want to go through and open all of these valves, valve 1 through 6 or 1 through 9, depending on how many you have. Open up the 2-inch valve, which is right here, and open up the 3-inch valve, which is right here, and open up the rinse valve, which is right here. With all those valves opened, all the fluid will be drained from the cabinet. If I open these valves down here and I have all my other valves open and there's no fluid flowing down below, you may want to check to ensure there's not a blockage in one of these lines preventing water from draining out. We're going to go ahead and open these valves. Also, we're going to come over here, we're going to open up the product hose rinse. Eductor supply, again, this would be removed. remove the inlet side and open the rinse on the bottom. With all of those open, all the fluid is draining. To prevent freeze damage, SurePoint recommends that all hoses connected to the QuickDraw cabinet be removed as close to the cabinet as possible. This will help reduce the chance of water being trapped inside the cabinet. Now that all the water is drained out, the next step is to begin adding RV antifreeze back to the system. To do this, we're going to loosen this hose clamp and rotate this fitting upward. Then we're going to ensure that both the 3-inch and the 2-inch valve are open on the bottom of the cabinet. And we're going to pour RV antifreeze into this fitting and ensure that we have RV antifreeze across the bottom of the cabinet. Now that we have this fitting turned upright, we can begin to pour RV antifreeze into this connection. Go ahead and close and open the 2 and 3-inch valve to ensure that we have good coverage of antifreeze inside these valves. Once complete, we can move on and begin to pour RV antifreeze in any of the remaining fittings. After they've had all the water drained out of them. So again, we would disconnect this fitting down below, pour RV antifreeze in up here. We'd go around to the pump. Again, make sure all the water's out. Take the hose clamp off on the top. Pour RV antifreeze in until it runs out the bottom. Make sure that everything is all the water drained out and is coated in RV antifreeze. From there, we can shut the display down. All the valves that are automatic will close, and your QuickDraw Max cabinet is now winterized.